and welcome back to AR-77. This is a bit of a revisit video once again. This is the Smith&Wesson M&P9 M2 or M2.0 as it says on the box. This is an Umarex product. It's a 4.5mm BB shooting CO2 powered replica air pistol. And I wanted to revisit this gun in particular because I've got a few guns which are similar to it. What I mean is the Glock 19X that I have and the HK VP9 are very similar guns. I've done a video on sort of the three of them kind of head to head. But I wanted to take a bit of time to revisit this one because similar to the video I just made about the Springfield Armory XDM, where I sort of looked at that and talked a bit about it being a bit of a love-hate relationship. I have the same with this M&P, and the reason I want to, well, I'll go through the reasons on the video why it's a bit of a love-hate relationship. So the negatives, first of all, the negatives are this safety, for one. Wish it didn't have that on it. Doesn't have that on the real steel, and I don't think it really needs it on the air gun. But okay, I'll accept it. But I wish that wasn't on it there. I wish the slide just felt and sounded a bit less like that. That's one of the things about these kind of mid-range in terms of cost. These mid-range air guns often seem to get that kind of rattly, sort of tinny finish to them, and it's just a shame that the tolerances aren't a little bit better, or they're not just a little bit better held in place. So that's that. Also, you've got this magazine. This is a perfectly functional magazine. It works really well. The CO2 goes in here, and your BBs go in the front. In some ways, it's a very good magazine. It's a good design because it locks back like that, and you slip your BBs in from the top, and it works very well. It's the same essentially magazine across the 19X and the VP9, as I said before, but they're not interchangeable. So the business end is pretty much identical, but they're not interchangeable because of the bottom end. I just would prefer it to be a more accurate replica magazine. I am splitting hairs with the magazine because it's functional, it's metal, it's full size essentially. So yeah, maybe splitting hairs there. But for all those things, the biggest issue I have, I think, with this gun is the trigger. The trigger is really quite heavy. It's uncomfortable when you're shooting it. Even with the blowback and the CO2 in, it gets to the point where, for me, I find it quite uncomfortable. A bit of an effort after a long day's shooting to pull that trigger, especially in the full sort of double action mode. But even with the blowback, it gets quite heavy, and you can hear that tinny noise again. It gets quite heavy compared to the others, really, the VP9 and the Glock 19X. So the trigger is a bit of a problem for me, although it's quite a clever trigger. It's got that trigger safety that works with it. It's a bit of a rigmarole, and just from hearing that noise over and over and over, I might have put people off buying this gun. But I hope I haven't, because once again, for all its character, I still really love this gun. And one of the main reasons, call me driven by cosmetic factors, if you wish, but the way it looks, I think it's just beautiful. I think it's a really beautiful gun. I think I prefer, well, I know I prefer the styling of the M&P to the Glock 19. I think I prefer the styling to the VP9. You know, the other guns that are similar to this, I think this is, looks-wise, quite possibly my favourite, to the point where I'm considering getting the .43 caliber version of this gun, because I think that's probably going to be better made. I need to get my hands on one and sort of see how it feels, but I think that's going to be better made than this one. That would be my assumption. And it's a larger caliber gun, so that's all kinds of fun, isn't it? It's the little things on this one. It's this kind of almost like a scaly finish to the slide serrations. I really like that. I really love this sort of sleek cutaway here, similar to you get on a kind of a SIG. I don't know if I mentioned that on the review. No, your takedown lever doesn't do anything. Your slide catch does work, but it doesn't lock right back. And again, you've got this, which is not completely open, but you can see through the gun. I do think these mid-range air guns are really good. This one and the VP9 and the 19X, the Glock 19X. I keep forgetting the name of it. I do think they're really good in terms of not being fully bells and whistles, but also being just over 100 quid usually to get your hands on one, usually about 120 quid. It's a bit of a shame when you look at things like the PT92 though, the kind of Taurus PT92 in all its versions, and some of the, the Remington 1911, they are fully functional, fully metal guns, and they're not much less, or in some cases they're exactly the same price. So I can understand why it's a toss-up, but this gun is so beautiful to look at. It really is, even with the white writing. I don't find that too intrusive on this, because you've got all this kind of, it's not embossed, is it? What do you call it? Etched kind of writing on the slide here. Again, it's all etched in there. On the other side, you've got the M&P logo there, 9. And the Smith&Wesson. I love anything like that. Anything like that. The sort of the horse, when you get a Colt and it's got the horse on it, or with the you've got the same thing on the what's it called? The Dirty Harry guns. I'll flash it up on the screen because it's escaped me. M29, but that's not the one I mean. Is it 629? The one that I've got. I love when you've got like a little logo like that. Same with the Springfield Armory XDM. You've got that etched in. I just think it's a really nice gun. And I think if you're looking for something that's not going to break the bank, but is a little bit more functionality to it than something like the Glock, the Colt Defender or the Glock 19, not the 19X, but the 19 that doesn't have the blowback, this is a really good gun. I suppose this is a bit of a love letter, and therefore self-indulgent, because personally, I just think these look really nice. Really good weight to it as well. It feels good. I love the sort of the curve of the barrel, of the slide, if you will. If you kind of look down there, just the angle of the curve. It's little things like that. It's not as severe as the sort of the Glock drop off, but it's not just as rounded as some others. Some more classic guns. It's just a really lovely shape, a really good aesthetic to that gun. So that's why I wanted to take a trip down memory lane. See what you think. Those of you who've got one, you might be able to let me know. Do you think that the trigger is a bit of a crap trigger? Do you enjoy shooting it anyway? What do you think about it generally? What I can tell you is if I have to shoot this next to the VP9, I can shoot the VP9 for a lot longer. The trigger's a lot nicer on that, a lot more forgiving. But they don't look the same, do they? They don't look the same. The VP9's a lovely gun. I do love the styling on this M&P9 by Umarex. There you go. Bit of a self-indulgent video, but hey-ho. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please do take care. Stay safe. All the very best. Bye.